But what's going to be significant is for everybody to see what we're doing. So it's right out in the open, of course, and basically what it costs them. I mean, people are going to want to know that. And also, why are we doing it? A lot of times, frequently, folks don't know why we're doing something or why we're looking forward to spending money or whatever. And one of the big reasons that we need to continue with our infrastructure is so that we can keep it up, so we're not kicking the can down the road and it becomes a huge problem for somebody later on that you simply can't afford. And one other point that I want to make, and I'm going to turn it over so council can talk about this, is our general obligation bond that we currently have will be paid off in May. And that's a big
August of 18.
Yeah. Okay, well, December 2018. So the point of it is I think that's a point that we need to tell folks so that we can kind of keep on going, because our city does need some type of leverage as we're going along to enhance our infrastructure as time passes as an ongoing type of a thing. So,
if I could add one more comment, Your Honor. And I think you make a good point, and I meant to give the council background on that. Your bonding capacity is set by Idaho code based on your assessed value of taxable property within your city. Because of our assessed value, our bonding capacity is approximately $21 million. Right now, the only bond that we have outstanding is what remains on the 20-year Hamilton Low Aquatic Center bond. I believe it's about $270,000. Don't quote me on that. But the final bond payment will be made in August of 2018. So we have bonding capacity that is not tapped at this point. One of the council's directions back in 2015, 2016 was that they wanted to retain enough capacity so if something came up, an emergency, we would have bonding capacity left that we'd be able to access. The idea to move forward is based upon a 10-year payback, and as the mayor indicated, what interests people is how much are you paying for that bond now, the current bond, how much will this bond end up costing a taxpayer, and we will develop all of that information and have it available for, typically we run a $150,000 house, a $200,000 house, a $250,000, $300,000 house. We'll have all those scenarios and what it essentially means. I thought that was one of the things that City of Pullman did very effectively in their bond election here a couple weeks ago, was they told folks this is what it will raise your taxes over this period of time, and these are the benefits that you're going to get from if you do this. So that would be the same thing. That's what we did when we did the Hamilton Low Aquatic Center. It's what we did when we did Fire Station number 3. So it's a well-known approach.
Now, one other quick point too is that most people don't hang out at their police department, so they'd want to know why they need a new police department. Because most people just don't go into the police department. I get a chance to as a mayor as well as a councilor, and you yourself as a city supervisor. So we need to make sure that we can have folks visit that. Okay, I'll open it up for. Did you have something, Catherine? You wanted Walter?
Thank you, Mayor. Gary, your total facilities project cost of $8,125,000 does not include a new recycle center. By moving it up to $8.5 million for the bond, are you assuming you'll have enough money to do that?
We actually, because again, it's an enterprise fund, the recycling center will have, or the sanitation fund, will have the funds that are paid by the general fund back to the sanitation fund, which can then be used to get a new recycling site once it's defined what that recycling site would be and the services that would be provided. In addition, we've been accumulating in the Sanitation Enterprise Fund for recycling center relocation and or development. So we do have an amount of money that's in there already that we can utilize for the recycling piece of it.
So it's not, so the recycling center relocation will not be part of the bond issue?
No, it is related only because of the interchange of the sites, but it is not, no funds, none of these bond funds will be used to support the enterprise fund.
Okay. And if I may?
Go ahead, Walter.
In your new police station cost estimate, they've only got a 5% construction contingency. That's too low. You've got 15 on both the man building and the remodel of the police department. Those two estimates, I think, were done in-house.
Yes.
Probably, and that's much more realistic. So,
And that's one of it's funny you say that. That's one of the things that we went through it, that we want to go back, revisit it. That's why we're asking for at least capacity to go to 8.5.
This may end up being 8.8. We don't know yet. Until we
Exactly.
get that defined, that'll be something that'll be in front
and
of
then
us.
finally, if I may, Gary, I remember in the last, I think, few weeks, I believe you were the one that made a comment that you didn't say the man building was structurally unsound, but you did not say that it was as structurally sound as you're saying tonight.
Yeah.
Do I
No, you're
do I remember
exactly
correctly?
right. It has been our belief that because of the cracking, and it isn't just cracking like down a brick, it is serial cracking showing at least what our people thought were almost fault lines or heave lines in the bricks. So that was one of the reasons that we asked council for funds to retain a structural engineer so we could find out, because our anticipation was you can't really fix it. Well, we had a structural engineer come in. They have not made invasive tests yet, but their initial assessment is that the building is structurally sound and that those cracks are superficial and merely need grouting. So it was a surprise to us as well. I believe what you're referring to is back probably sometime during the budget process. I think I made that comment, and I think I referred to it as functionally nearing the end of its useful life.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Okay. Brandy?
What do you anticipate the parking needs? I hate to bring up the parking word, but for the 4th Street relocation of engineering and
The idea would be there may be some ability to rent some space. As you know, Gritman still owns a federal building. They have a parking lot adjacent to it. We'd explore that. All of those vehicles are parked here in our facility now, so that is available. The police have all of the adjacent parking on the north side of 4th Street. It's anticipated that that would be retained for that. There's also one parking space along Washington Street, I believe, that is also two that are assigned to the police department. Probably we might extend that by another vehicle or something, whatever can fit comfortably.
I mean, do you feel that the parking that exists there could accommodate the needs of the people working in that building with some overflow in these other locations?
Doubtful it would accommodate everybody who works there, but you have to understand, the police now, most of the parking along 4th Street on the east side of Washington is taken up by officers who park their personal vehicles there. Actually, there would probably be, at least during the day, a few more employees with community development and engineering than currently are employed at the police department. But we believe there will still be parking available in this lot, so we think it is adequate.